Good afternoon and welcome to DigitalPNA. I'm so happy you are all here today, live from whatever city you're in. When you do your introduction, we'd love to hear where you're from. And then if folks do share this video out, people online on YouTube can actually chime in and ask questions or whatnot. So that's cool. My name is Marcel. I'm your president of the chapter for the year, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. But the theme of the year is, wouldn't it be cool if? So I want you to think for a moment, wouldn't it be cool if you made 5 sales this month? Wouldn't it be cool if you got 4 referrals today? Wouldn't it be cool if your hair looked as good as Brian Trendler's? I mean, you never know what's possible. But we want to encourage you to think big, because when we collaborate and when we connect, things can happen. And I want to encourage you to just have a spirit of, great things can happen. So let's see here. Our group is changing a little bit. These are our current positions. Welcome Yelena and welcome Kathy today. This is it's not a closed category. Most of the P&A community is closed category, so like only one real estate broker or one, officiant. Whereas in this chapter, because it covers multiple states, we are not that rigid with, like, we have 2 finance people, and we think that's wonderful. So know that we are looking for more people to join our community. For me personally, I probably get anywhere from 20 to 80%, depending of the month, of my business from this community. So I look at everybody here as an extension of my sales team, which some months it works really, really well. And some months I'm like, I got to do a better job of communicating to my key people. And we want to encourage you guys to have that same opportunity as well. Let's see. So I'm kind of playing with my graphics here. I want everybody's on the screen. There y'all are. Now I can see it. And then on the top here, you can see their Instagram handle. So if you take a photo or a screenshot, or if you want to just follow up with people on Instagram later, and Kathy and Yelena, if you guys have Instagrams, you're welcome to drop that in the chat now or throughout the meeting. We encourage people to connect offline and digitally, right? We want one-to-ones in person, but also online. So looking at last month for August 2025. Brian, do you want to speak to this slide real quick? Brian Trendler?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I just updated the slide a few days ago, but I did actually just jump back in and tweak it a bit more. We had a pretty good month. All of the chapter locations, whether physical locations or in this case digital P&A, we have kind of an arbitrary goal for groups that are under 15 members of $15,000. And frankly, it's just good to see that there's business exchanging hands, whether it's me needing to give Yelena all of my insurance business, dag nabbit, so she benefits from an inside referral, closed business, or if I know somebody who needs to have their Casbah rocked because she's so amazing, I would give an outside referral to her. Hopefully she'd close business and claim that. So this is where we're at, 42K and change for last month, so pretty darn good. I'm sorry, 13.4 for August. Obviously, this is the first meeting of the month, so we got nowhere to go but up. But for the year, I just want to mention that we're at 42,680 and 76 cents. That 76 cents is important, in case Kathy was wondering. But we also track every month the referrals, both outside and inside. Again, me needing business from Marcel is inside. Outside is me referring somebody to Mike because his advertising is awesome. One-to-ones, a little down. So between digital members here in Digital P&A, or if you're close enough to a brick and mortar and are connected to any of the other chapters, why not go have one-to-ones with them and claim as well? That allows you to, as always, expand your network and your net worth. Video shared. This probably makes Marcel cringe because she's all about syndication, and that's why we love her. We want to make sure that if you do have a video that you need shared out to your network, it helps everybody. It helps get viewerships that they may not have gotten just by way of their level of penetration within the social media market. So do more of that. Have those to bring every single month if you don't already have one in your side pocket, ready to talk about later today. And no new members as of today or last month, but we'd love for that to change. Lots of new faces here today. Matter of fact, guests almost outnumber members. So it's a good problem to have. That's what I got. If you have anything else, feel free to send it to me either in private email. I'll put my email in the chat window, or you can just comment and I'll record accordingly. Thanks, Marcel.
Excellent. Thanks, Fran. We appreciate that. Hey, and great job last month. That's a big month for August. That's very exciting to see. And if you didn't get a piece of that 13,000, I want to encourage you, book an appointment with everybody here, reach out, do a one-to-one. And if you aren't getting business, ask folks, what would it take for me to earn your business? What would make you more comfortable for me to be your go-to guy or gal? And that's really exciting when it does start to work. So I want to encourage you to join the digital community with us. And with that being said, we run the show a little bit different. And so, oops, let me go back a slide. We have different volunteer roles that kind of rotate around based on the day. And so I'm going to encourage everybody, could be all of them in theory, but for me, I want to make sure there's at least one person that's going to take a photo of their screen. Maybe they get a 5-second clip of our presenter. Maybe they get a selfie, with their, artwork behind them and the screen, whatever it is. To me, a great meeting, one of the benefits of that is what I call social proof. There's pictures, there's content that makes it online because they're having a good time, or maybe they just closed a $5,000 deal, or maybe they got 3 new connections. And so whatever your storytelling level is, we want to encourage you, capture some content today and share what you want. And if you're not sure how to share that, set up a one-to-one with me, and I'm happy to walk you through some of that stuff. Did I have a photographer? I didn't see a hand up.
I'll do it again.
BB, thank you. Excellent. So feel free to get us a smile, or do the thing when you're ready.
Okay, everybody practice right now. Give me something. Look like you're interested. Give me extremely interested. 3, 2. There we go. I think you understood the assignment. There you go. Okay, carry on.
Awesome. Thanks, BB. So that is one of those digital marketing skills of getting your audience or your friends or your colleagues to ham it up with you, to cheese it up, or just play very interesting like BB just did. So thank you for that. Does anybody want to be the tracker or the meme maker? And the meme maker is somebody that, if Mike says something brilliant, they capture that, a sentence or two, and they're willing to create some content from there.
Please capture that because it's so rare.
I can be the meme maker today. I'm feeling very creative, so I will listen for you, Mike. How about people willing to update their stories? Now, stories are different than your reels or your feed. It's the some of us, update our story 4 or 5 times a day. Some people do 0. Some people do 20 times a day. So as you become more of a creator in the digital space, I want to encourage you to think about, what is that story your brand is telling, but how do you connect to the greater story that is, Facebook or Instagram? So anybody want to update their story today? I challenge everybody to, but again, if you don't know what that means, please set up a one-to-one with me. I'm happy to show you really quick. And then tag on social. So if you do quote with somebody, or if you take a photo with somebody, tag them on their Instagram, tag them on Facebook, or send them a connection. Any questions on that part? I went through it pretty fast for some of our new folks. No questions. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to do commercials. You get a 60-second commercial. I don't time them too intensely, but everybody gets a chance to be seen and heard. And we encourage you to give us a recent win. Maybe tell us where you are in the world, what you're selling, if you've got specials. And then if you have an ask, maybe you have a new Instagram feed that you're really proud of. Maybe you're on a podcast. Maybe you just want someone to review a sales letter and you want to send it to us, right? So have an ask, because part of our job here, the digital team, is to encourage you and help you get more traction on your content, right? So if you've got a great podcast and we can each share it in a various place online, make sure you talk about that podcast piece in your commercial. I'm going to drop in the chat the order of these. So I'm going to start with Christina. Welcome back.
Hi, guys.
Brian Trendler. Okay. Go ahead when you're ready, Christina.
Okay. Hi, guys. So, Christina from Outdoor Lighting Perspectives. I know y'all can see my background. So, we do outdoor lighting. We cover territory from Canada all the way down to Kent. And I want to talk a little about my background real quick because I know it's cut off. But the Mukilteo Lighthouse Festival is happening Friday through Sunday. And we're actually lighting up the lighthouse this way.
Ooh.
Yeah, lighthouse for the fifth year in a row. And I actually just found out a sweet little treat, just to my digital PNA family, that they are planning, and we're hoping that it's going through, to do like a little drone show with, and they're gonna do the OP logo. So we're hoping that happens. So that'll be pretty cool. So if you guys are local or in the area, you should come and check it out. Stop by and see us. There's a beer garden and live music, and we'll just be lighting up the night the entire weekend long. So we'll have some specials and some Mukilteo Lighthouse, like, just special codes for lighting and stuff. So recommend it to your friends that are thinking about holiday lighting, because it's Christmas at Outdoor Lighting Perspectives. So yeah, Christina from Outdoor Lighting Perspectives.
That's awesome. I have nothing to tell you about drones or anything along those lines, but I can tell you that if you know people that drone on forever at nauseam as heck,
Drone
and I
accounts of
can
me.
actually
Here we go.
fix that. Why, you ask? Well, it's because Marcel and I are humor engagement coaches. What does that mean? Well, very few people know. It means we get to teach you how to be better at what you're already doing. We're all funny in some way, shape, or form. We take what's funny about situations, about products, about services, about, not meant to sound sarcastic, the way you look, the way you carry yourself. Use it as a successful tool when you're presenting to become more memorable, more likable, more listenable. And especially if you've had sessions with Marcel through Dreamosity, how to work with your video skills, you want to be more watchable, not just for the first 5 to 7 seconds, through to the end. So if you know people that want to work on their speaking skills, be more confident and confident, we can help you with that. That's what I got.
Thank you, Brian. And I'll be droning on a little later, perhaps with or without illumination. We'll see. But I'm Mike with the Puget Sound Business Journal. And wouldn't it be cool if, when you advertise, you're not wasting money? Because often you are. There was a commentator early part of last century that said, I know that half my advertising budget is wasted. I just don't know which half. Because you don't know. You try things, you go out there, and you want to mitigate risk. And that's what the Puget Sound Business Journal can help business people do. If what you want to do is advertise to business leaders, because our audience is predominantly business leaders. You can reach business leaders advertising in the Seattle Times. You can reach business leaders working your ads through ad networks, but you're reaching a ton of other people too, who have neither the interest nor the means to buy your services. If you want every dollar to work harder, you target your market. If you want to target business leaders, you can work with a number of companies, but the Puget Sound Business Journal does it really, really well in this market. I don't think anybody targets business leaders better in this market than us. So wouldn't it be cool if you stopped wasting money in advertising? I'd love to talk with you or people you know who are tired of wasting ad money. Mike with the Puget Sound Business Journal.
I am Kathy Riemann, and thank you for having me today. Thank you for inviting me, Marcel. I have just launched my own business that is all about removing toxins and chemicals from your life. So I started Bluffside Apothecary, which specializes in organic and natural skincare and personal products. So I offer lines of cleansers, toners, serums, emollient tallows, and hair products and mouthwashes. So the purpose is to clean out your system and to feel good about what you put on your skin. My specialty is my emollient tallows. I use local grass-fed beef. That's right. That's fat. But it's always produced in small batches, and it is really, really good for your skin. So Bluffside Apothecary, it's rooted in nature to elevate your skincare. and to elevate you. So never any toxins, never any chemicals, never any water or additives or preservatives or anything unnatural. It's all 100% active ingredients. Thank you for having me.
Yay.
Okay, well, Rosie with TAP Services. So we are now getting into the end of third quarter and rolling into fourth quarter. This, believe it or not, it starts ramping up. People start coming out of the woodworks and they say they need their year caught up because their other bookkeeper, hasn't caught up or anything of that sorts. So essentially what we really like to do is help people get a financial every single month. A lot of business owners don't understand the importance of looking at your net profit. And both my husband and I, who are a dual team, 30 years of experience working in the accounting industry, we know the importance of proper financials in helping clients move along, in their business journey. So if you know anyone that's looking, to get their year caught up because they're panicking, it's almost the end of the year, send them our way. We'd be happy to help and guide them through the process. Rosie with TAP Services.
Mass applause. Mass applause. My name is Mass.
Thank you, Rosie. So my name is Yelena, and I'm with Country Financial. So most people only think that they need insurance when something goes wrong, a car accident, storm damage, or worse. And by then, it's often too late to make the changes. My role is to take the stress out that by reviewing and simplifying coverage before any of those moments happen. I work with families and small business owners to make sure that they're not only covered properly, but also that they're getting the discounts and the actual service they deserve. What makes us different is that we build relationships with our clients. We check in, we adjust as life changes, and we make sure that they're always protected and not just overpaying for things that they don't really need. So my ask today is that if you hear someone complaining that their premiums went up and that they just keep climbing, or they haven't had their insurance reviewed in years, I'd love an introduction, and a quick conversation can make all the difference in giving them a peace of mind. And thank you. This is Yelena.
All right, BV, you're up.
Oh, I'm up. I was too busy. Okay, making some pictures, notes here. So, by the way, Yelena, I think we need to nominate you for the next Colgate model. You've got one of those dazzling smiles, though. So.
Thank you.
Anyway. And I'm going to echo and piggyback in some of that because one of my favorite titles when people ask me, I say, I'm a life changer. Well, what are you talking about? Because that doesn't sound right. But we have that in common, some things we do. And when I try to simplify what I do, I say, hey, I design strategies to create wealth. Or if you're not ready for that, I design strategies to protect wealth. And sometimes that's just life insurance. Maybe it's more sophisticated, but sometimes it's simple as that. And whether it's permanent or term insurance, whatever the kind of thing. But if at all possible, we want you to have life insurance with living benefits. And we've had some people realize, wait, that's a thing. That makes a difference. So if you're curious about that, and also you're curious about, are you going to be okay? Or are you on track in retirement? That's one of those good, hey, Brian, am I okay? Another good question is, hey, Brian, what's an IRA and how do you spell that? Those are the things I'd love to help people figure that stuff out. So my ask within my 60 seconds is I've shared a short video in the past about an IUL for kids and how to teach if you know a kid, you have a kid in your life and anywhere you know a kid, this is something that might be pertinent because a lot of people don't know. How do you get kids started with financial things and some of that education? So I'll share the video link. It's a super short one. If you could share that or share it with anybody who has a kid. That's my 60 seconds as a life changer.
Awesome. Thanks, BV. So let's see. Hey, my name is Marcel. I run a company called Dreamosity. We've been growing here lately. I've got 2 new team members helping me, and we've been working on this really cool data art project. And a lot of people are like, well, what is data art? What does it look like? Well, if you click the link in the chat, it goes to my Instagram of this massive wall we're creating to showcase over 100 communities. Right now, we're about 28. And so I want you, my ask today is to go in there and leave a comment of your favorite community or a great community. Maybe it's a chamber, maybe it's one you host, maybe it is your family. They just throw the best picnics, like it can be big, it can be small. You can even leave 3 or 4 communities if you want. When I posted that reel, I had a vision like, oh, people are going to just give me tons of communities, and I've had crickets, you guys. So help me out. Give me a community or 2. And hey, you can even say DigitalPNA if you need an example of a community, because that's one of my communities, because I just adore you all and the fact that you send me referrals on a consistent basis. So if you know people looking to improve their social media, their video, how they leverage their sphere of influence, I would love to be introduced to them, because people should not be alone in business. Like, more than anything, we need a team, and I can help you build that team if that's not something you have yet. So with that, I'm going to take us to the next slide here. So Mike helped contribute to this topic. Let's see if I can move it. What is your favorite brand and why? And I think he has a really good motive here. And so this is kind of one of those questions. So I'm going to go in the reverse order, which means I'm going first. So I gotta think real quick. I would probably say one of my favorite brands is Laugh Tech, partly because, yeah, I co-own it, but we have so much fun, you guys. Like, for as serious as most people are, I really believe that humor heals and laughter helps, and our comedians are way funnier than our clients, and I'm so glad I get to bring that energy to our clients so that they can get a little bit of it. But to me, it's probably one of the most fun brands, and from this fact that it was literally an idea in Brian Trendler's head 11 years ago before it started, and we've developed it together, right? I've been a part of it. I understand it. I care about it. But it's probably one of my favorite brands. So there you go, Mike. Let me type the chat. BV, you're next.
Favorite brands is I love brands that get my attention, and because it's all of us who we get just lost in the I don't know, I don't want to use a negative word, quagmire, the ocean of marketing. And when I still find, this is maybe Yelena, you can appreciate this. How is it that the big insurance companies have the brilliant people that make really boring stuff? They got a friggin' lizard who is sometimes hilarious, or all those weird insurance company people that, here I'm getting lost at the names of the people who, like Nationwide. I love those boring brands that go, I want to pay attention to that. So I guess I don't have a specific thing, but those kinds of things, they just stick in your head and remember the simple jingles. So I try to figure out, is there a way to make that work for us and make these jingles and make something boring worth listening to.
So wait, was there an answer in there?
That is my problem. So ask my wife; she'll tell you. God, you said a lot, but what did you say? So
I'm just curious.
Well, I can't put my finger on it, but I think of the things that insurance company brands. Well, like Geico is just an example. Those insurance, you pick some stupid little lizard, take some stupid acronym, turn it into a creature. That's brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thank you, BV. Yelena.
You really threw this one on me.
Yeah.
I would say maybe something like Costco. There's like a one size fits all there. It pertains to many different walks of life. And they take care of their employees. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Rosie.
So I just came up with one. I don't know why, but I was thinking of food because I always like food, right? So a particular brand of rice that I typically go for is it has a logo of an elephant, 2 elephants,
Yep.
and it's jasmine, particularly jasmine rice. That's the one that I like the most. with the elephants on it, because there's a lot of jasmines out there, but there's particular ones that are actually better than others. So I'm kind of a rice connoisseur, since I've eaten rice since I was pretty much born. So there you go.
Wait, and what was the brand, Rosie? I missed it.
And I don't know the name, but it's pictures of two elephants.
Oh.
Yeah, that are facing each other, and it's jasmine. Like it's a jasmine rice.
We'll have to do our research. Thanks, Rosie. Kathy.
Yeah.
Well, this was kind of tough because I don't feel I'm really loyal to any brand, but then I'm looking at my table. This Synergy kombucha.
Oh.
I love this brand. This is the only kombucha I buy.
Wow.
So I guess that and the other thing sitting on my table, the Seahawks.
Yes.
Does that count as a brand?
Yes,
I'm
totally.
loyal to the Seahawks, so and the Mariners. So I guess that would be where my loyalties lie. And then Apple, because
Oh, I love Apple.
that's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Kathy. Mike.
Great answers. I am going to go with a good old standby Disney, and not because of a history of them forming your childhoods or having the happiest places on earth, but also because they do a great job in their running events. And I had my first experience doing a Disney run earlier this year, and they knocked it out of the park. They know how to treat people. They know how to make it work. They know how to add an incredible amount of energy and personality to something that is a fairly functional thing. They did everything right, and I was deeply impressed by that and enjoyed it immensely. And I think that they knocked it out of the park because they know how to do that. So Disney is my answer.
Excellent. Good job. How about you, Brian?
All right, Mike, real quick, little known personal fact. I worked for Tandy. I worked for the first computer city that opened up in 1989 in Linwood. And our entire team, we were trained by Disney. And holy carp, you talk about a bunch of crazy people. They showed up and they all had the big 3-fingered hands or 4-fingered hands, big mittens. And they're like, hi, my name is... And they were imitating voices and training us to be serious salespeople. Now I can't get anywhere near a 9-foot rat without needing therapy. So it's just disturbing. Anyway, I guess Disney owns everything now. So I was going to say Marvel and DC and even Star Wars. Holy crap, they own almost all of it. They are doing it right from the standpoint that now that we're talking about all these things, our Facebook feeds and Instagram feeds are going to be inundated with advertisements for all of them. But my recent favorite is none of the above. It's Hexclad, because I am a home cook. I am the Papa Bear. I make stuff for my kids and occasionally for Marcel when she comes over, whatever. And it's so much fun. I swear to God, that Scottish jerk, Gordon Ramsay, he's like, you fat cow, if you don't buy this, I'm going to kill you. And he's literally threatening me. And he keeps giving me discounts. Advertising another set of discounts for 8 pots and a flat iron that I don't need. But I'm almost ready to take the plunge. So I'm very impressionable, in case you haven't noticed.
Good job, Brian. Christina. Favorite brand and why?
Well, Cassie threw out the Seahawks, so I think I should throw out my favorite NFL team, the Houston Texans. So, you're gonna just throw that out there. No, it is a Texas-based brand. It's called James Avery. It's like Pandora in Texas, but not. It's James Avery. Every girl has it. It's just kind of like a ritual out here. People call it like a little cult, but it's just a charm bracelet. And
Oh.
I'm not really a jewelry person, but this one has like every walk of life. It has like my army career on it, my kid, my other kid, which is my dog, just everything I've been able to experience, my travels and stuff. And it's just kind of a quick way. And um, earlier in the summer, we had a pretty bad flood up in Central Texas, and so all the purchases made here on or at James Avery, they donated a portion of what you bought to the flood victims, and help support, pay for the loss and obviously the rebuilding of the community. So it's one of my favorite brands. My sister works there. They treat her really well. From what I understand, people that work there love it and stay there for a really long time. And I also get a military discount, so I can't say too much negative about James Avery. But I do love what they do community wise. So that's a big thing for me because well, we get hit with hurricanes down here in Texas, and getting all the help that you can, especially from a local brand, is pretty big. Considering that they make a lot of money, it's nice to see that they take that money and put it back into the community that supports their business and their growth. So yeah, that's why it's one of my favorite brands.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Those were really great responses. And I want to encourage you to think about those words, those descriptions that were used. Was it fun? They were generous because it's, the Seahawks and we're all the 12th man. Like, what were those words? And think about your own brand. How could you be a generous brand, a fun brand, I'm trying to think of the other words that were said, but like part of Digital PNA is like we are creating our own brand together, and we can evolve based on the inspiration of these giants who have gone before us. So thank you for sharing. And Mike, that was a great question. Good work. So thank you for that. That tees me up perfectly to have him speak. He's our presenter of the day. We've got a 20-minute presentation in store. He is from the Puget Sound Business Journal. He is with Key Accounts, or he covers the Key Accounts. Is that the right title for you there?
Yeah, Key Account Manager.
He's like a genius advertiser is really what I would describe him as.
not at all correct, but thank you.
So, Mike, do you how many years in business or with this company?
So in media advertising, about 20 years now.
Okay, excellent. And a seldom known personal fact.
I started my career in luxury international adventure travel.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
I just strung all those words together and poof.
Yeah, great. And title of presentation today?
Title of presentation today is Brand Safety.
Brand safety. Okay, well, I will stop sharing and you can share if you're ready. And I will, do you want us off the screen so it's just you and your slides?
Well, I'm going to try to share this. Let's see if this works because this is a slightly different interface than I'm used to. Am I sharing anything right now?
Yeah, I see it there. So I'm going to.
If I then do that, do you see the title slide?
Yep. And you can hit it to full presentation mode if you want.
How does that look?
That looks
perfect.
Fantastic. Oh my gosh.
All right. I'm going to put everyone else in the back in the kind of green room, but please stay and listen, and then we'll all pop back on to do a debrief. So take it away, Mike.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Marcel. I wish I saw your faces here because I enjoy that while I present, but I don't. I just see the slide as you do, which says brand safety, and then subhead and brand fails. And BV mentioned earlier about the dynamic of working with him to create wealth and then protect wealth. And your brand is an asset. It's part of your wealth. And this presentation and brand safety in general pertains to not just big companies like Wells Fargo or medium-sized company. It affects you if you've invested in building a brand. And I know all of you have. And I know all of you do by doing the right things every day to treat your customers well and to present yourself well and to build that asset of your brand. And if you're building the asset, if you're investing in that asset, you want to protect it. And there are some specific techniques to do that in advertising, in digital advertising in particular. So brand safety is something we all should be aware of if you have a brand or if you're interested in brands. So what is brand safety? So brand safety is how well you protect your brand from being associated with the crazies out there or the very, very bad people out there when you are presenting your brand to the wide world. way to think about it is a set of measures that aim to help your brand or brands avoid content that people universally agree should be blocked. It is very important to put your message in the right place at the right time, not just for the effectiveness of the message, but also to protect your brand. And it is something that if you haven't thought about when advertising, I urge you to think about, because things can go south. Is it important? Is brand safety important? This was an interesting, I created the slide and then I did the research and found some interesting data. So putting your brand next to the right material in online actually delivers about 50% higher ad recall for your message. So if you are doing it right, if you're putting your message in the right context next to the right material online, people will remember your message better. And according to Reuters, the news company, people believe that you have control over where you put your brand message. So they're not looking at it as some random placement. They're looking at it as you put your brand next to this message for a reason. So if they believe you have control, you want to make sure that they are that you're doing it right, because they're going to blame you if it goes wrong. A 2019 consumer survey showed that more than 80% of consumers would lessen their spend on a product that's advertising in a place inappropriate to that brand. So not only do they think that you have control, have agency over where your brand goes, but if you are putting it in the context of inappropriate material, they'll stop buying what you're selling. They'll stop listening to you. They'll stop believing and trusting your brand. And so that's something you and I and other advertisers want to avoid. What could go wrong? Here's an example. A news story. Joanne's husband lived in a flat with dead wife's body in a wardrobe for 48 hours, and a wardrobe seller advertised on that page. Yes, probably coincidental, but you want to avoid that. You want to avoid something like this. Coffee might trigger first heart attack in some, next to the Folgers ad. Maybe this is a little less coincidental, because sometimes ads are placed next to articles due to keywords. And this article might have a keyword like coffee in it. And Folgers has said to their agency, oh, advertise next to anything with the word coffee in it. So, again, you don't want this to be your brand. An article on the Associated content, anactidaeophobia, the fear that you are being watched by a duck, next to that Aflac ad that we all see all the time. Or a site, deaf.com, for the deaf person's community, deaf person of the year, next to Verizon's Can You Hear Me Now campaign. Again, avoidable. And I think you want to avoid this. I was in the travel industry. You don't necessarily want your cruise vacation ads next to a news story about a sinking ship. So it can be weird. It can be funny. It can get much, much worse too, because it's not just, funny ads. There are advertising sites out there, or there are sites soliciting advertising out there that do have childhood sexual assault material on them. That's very, very bad places on the webs, in the internet. And the advertisers that have found their ads associated with these very bad places is a long list with major names on it, spending millions of dollars on digital advertising. And these companies have brands that are their primary asset. And they found themselves associated with some very, very dark places on the internet because they were not paying enough attention to brand safety, to their brand safety. So how do things like this happen? I'm not going to just blame Google, the elephant in the room, but Google, in fact, is a primary mechanism for digital advertising. Advertisers, you may have done this. Work with Google to position your ad based upon Google's algorithms on sites that would effectively find you the right audience. They try to do so, and in fact do so mostly pretty well, but sometimes they don't because the algorithm isn't perfect and because some websites that Google works with code themselves in such a way, deliberately in such a way, to solicit some of those ad dollars. The factors that an ad network or an ad exchange use to position your ad include the amount of money that you're bidding. And you do bid for ads, or many companies do bid for ads when they are working with an ad network. They are saying, I have this amount of money, ad network, use it effectively to reach this market. And the ad network will take that amount of money and bid on which ads go on which sites. The highest bidder wins. The sellers, and the money flows from advertiser to publisher through a convoluted fact. Other factors, the relevance of the ad to the keywords of the content, location, demo, past activity of the viewer of the ad. A bunch of things go into calculations of where your ads might come. This happens in thousandths of a second, even faster than that. So it's not uncommon for things not to work well. Sometimes they go very, very bad. What can you, as the person parting with your hard-earned dollars to advertise, what can you do to secure brand safety, to mitigate the risk, to not get your ad associated with very bad material or even material that simply puts your ad in a bad light? Step one is define what brand safety is for your particular brand. What do you want to communicate? What really an analysis of what brand do you want and what brand do you have? Using that, you brainstorm a list of keywords you don't want to be associated with online. Keywords being the codes, the tags that help those algorithms place your ad. You could create negative keywords, things that are absolutely not what you want to associate your brand with, and deliver that as instructions of where not to place your ad. Avoid the dirty dozen. This is something that the ad community has sort of created over a period of more than a decade now. It's now 13. But there are some things that when you look to place ads, the community writ large suggests you avoid. That includes content about military conflict, obscenity, drugs, tobacco, adult, arms, crime, death and injury, hate speech, online piracy, terrorism, spam, and fake news. Only advertise using reputable networks, Google being one of them. even better, and this is a bit self-serving, but it is true, choose to work directly with the publisher instead of through an ad network. And that gives you maximum control over where your ads are placed. If you choose a publisher that benefits your brand, you can make sure your ad doesn't fall into those dark areas of the web that will hurt your brand. And also know who you're working with, know your agency, know the media, and always follow up. You're spending your money. Make sure half of it isn't wasted. Half of it actually isn't subverting your brand by putting your material next to bad things. So you do all this, you can safeguard your brand. You can protect your wealth, as BV might say. But if you actually do it right, you can enhance your brand. And that's probably the biggest message here, that yes, brand safety is something you should pursue if you have a brand, if your brand is important to you. If you do that, you can avoid the bad places, and that's good. But if you work with professionals who really know your brand and know how to advertise it, not only can you avoid the hurt, you can enhance your brand by associating your content with the right type of material. Put your message in the context of the material that your audience values and appreciates, and that will enhance your brand, not simply show it off, and certainly not diminish your brand. So this is a plea for you to pay attention to your brand, and also think about where things go and work with people, or work with companies, work with professionals, or simply think about how you spend your money in a way to enhance your reputation, your brand, in addition to avoid things that might hurt your brand. And so I'm going to stop sharing now and see if that works. End of slideshow, click to exit. Are you guys?
I'm going to bring everybody back. We'll do questions. If you have a question for Mike, we don't see your slides anymore. Is there more to see?
Right.
Okay. Questions?
There's no more to see. So I'm back at
Mike,
home base.
Mike, as you know, and for those of you who don't know, I too have been in the advertising marketing world for 30 plus years. So Mike and I are kindred spirits. But I wonder if you start to see people that are doing it wrong from the advertising and marketing perspective, what steps do you take to put them on the right road to success when considering advertising through your channels, whether online or through print? Because the problem I run into all the time is the customer's always right. And if they want to talk about religion when they're trying to sell windows or whatever, there's a slippery slope where you could actually lose your client base, your viewership, if you're beginning to dictate based off of that sort of thing. So I'm curious how Puget Sound Business Journal works with that. And
yeah, great question, because we endeavor to have lots of discussion and meetings and be good advisors and consultants, even well before we start talking about a plan. It feels like often, I think, that the advertising starts when the contract is signed. And it couldn't be farther from the truth. We want discussions to happen that long time before that yes, result in a contract ideally, but not at the expense of doing the right thing for both parties. So companies get into the situation you described when they're working in an advertising environment that's more transactional than relationship oriented. That transactional environment does exist. That can work for people. That can work for both parties. But in our world, in my world, that is the last thing we want to have happen, because it can go south. The other thing is, often midway or oftentimes through the run of a campaign, we're checking in. And so it's not a take your money, place the ad, clap your hands and say, talk to you next time when an opportunity comes up. We're checking in while the ad is running and can adjust in midstream.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Mike.
Sure.
All right. Any other questions for Mike before we jump into the speech breakout?
So, Mike, I'm intrigued with that was pretty thorough kind of breakdown and brings some. I love it when anybody says anything that brings counterintuitive thoughts. You start to think about things differently, and that almost sounds like something, another service. I wouldn't have thought that you had that kind of analysis available to other people who are trying to promote their business and maybe give some coaching about how even their logos and some of those are good questions. I hadn't thought until this presentation that your background was such that you could give some guidance as to how to launch and grow, expand, morph a brand. And is that something you've done through Puget Sound Business Journal or otherwise?
Yeah, it in fact is. I think in my aged wisdom here, I've come to recognize that the in a conversation is perspective, and that perspective comes from a time when both the technology didn't allow for, and I guess my own attitudes didn't allow for, the type of analysis that one can do now. At the same time, a number of the places I've worked have adjusted the ways they are doing things. I mentioned earlier that it's relationship oriented and not transactional. I worked for many years for the Seattle Times. When the Seattle Times was hitting on all cylinders, we would actually simply, position our chairs next to the fax machine and wait for the insertion orders to roll in. It was that good.
Yeah.
Things have changed. There are a lot more ways for people to advertise now. And to their credit, the Seattle Times, the sales team has morphed into kind of an internal ad agency to help companies work on everything from their logos to their media plan to the actual execution. Sometimes that includes buying the Seattle Times as part of the media plan. Sometimes it isn't. And in fact, that's what I hope to achieve too, that I can be a trusted resource that helps companies meet their goals without it simply being, here's something that I do and my company does. Marketing now is with the increased ways for people to spend money, it's more confusing and more labor intensive than ever.
Yeah.
And one should look for helpful guideposts along the way. And that's what I think my colleagues can offer.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
Mike, have you ever had an experience where, like at Dreamos, I've identified I am not a reputation management company. Like social media can help with that, but that is not our main focus. Like there are some agencies do that. Have you ever seen a company that maybe they were kind of struggling from a reputation management perspective, where a good ad campaign actually helped elevate them and course correct some poor management decisions or some challenging? Like, have you ever seen advertising work to really steer a brand?
One of the growth products in our world is called thought leadership articles or tools, essentially advertorials, but advertorials that are about typically a CEO giving their perspective on something. It works really well in the business to business world in which I live. And that has helped companies throw a good spotlight on their CEO, sort of command attention, present themselves as owning the expertise in a subject and being a thought leader. A good example is a company that is my largest account, which is called Round Glass. Round Glass is a wellness app, and they're launching from their offices in Bellevue with the expectation that they'll have lots of business throughout North America. But to launch, they need to carve out a position in this fairly soft right now segment. And they're doing so by using a combination of beautiful display ads to garner attention, but also thought leadership articles to position themselves as expert in workplace wellness. In addition, they've created an award along with the Puget Sound Business Journal, the Excellence in Wellbeing Award. They're the founding partner in this award. The Puget Sound Business Journal solicits nominations from companies, sorts them. Without Round Glass's involvement, we identify leaders, companies in the area that win the Excellence in Wellbeing Awards, but Round Glass gets to present the award along with the Puget Sound Business Journal. That absolutely positions them as the right company to talk about excellence and well-being in this market.
Excellent.
It's a great strategy.
That's very clever. I love the collaborative approach. Well, excellent. So we're going to dive into the speech breakout portion. So this is a chance for Mike to sit back and relax and see how well we paid attention to his presentation, really. And so this is group participation from everyone else. And let's just talk for a moment. You can kind of popcorn out answers. You don't need to raise your hand or anything. But who is his target market there at the Puget Sound Business Journal, would you say? Or who might need their services?
Definitely businesses that are pouring money into other avenues and not seeing results, especially down to the kernel that he could provide from an analysis standpoint, during the milestones of a campaign. And definitely trades. Obviously, well, not obviously. I know his publication well, so trades do very, very well, from roofers to general contractors to specialists that, enjoy dealing with property managers, all the way up to real estate, commercial, and residential. So.
Yeah, even simply, I think anybody who is spending money on advertising, kind of break down and say, am I doing this right? Am I spending the right money? And could it be better? Something like that's an example of a resource. If they already have the scratch, they're already spending, that'd be better than somebody who doesn't advertise at all. Probably is not ideal for you, Mike, but yeah.
Yeah, people targeting a really thoughtful, maybe wealthy audience, I would say. Okay, the next category is key conversation. So what might trigger a referral from Mike, or maybe you're at happy hour or a barbecue or some picnic or in a Facebook group? What might tag you in Mike to that conversation? Be like, you got to meet my colleague Mike. He knows how to keep your brand clean. He knows how to advertise you and position you for excellence. Like, what might trigger an introduction?
Yeah, from my side of the Laugh Tech Business Center, BT Presents, with all the nonprofit work I do as an auctioneer and MC, I'm trying to keep my ears open for folks that have an event coming up and want to have a targeted campaign with Mike to reach, his viewership, both online and in print, for those sort of limited, short-lived campaigns. I know that's not going to allow Mike to retire anytime soon, but that could be a future presentation too, how well he can give exposure to those businesses, whether they're looking for auction items or they're looking to actually simply drive ticket sales for the cause. A cause-based presentation would be very beneficial, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think even a key conversation too of, hey, are you getting the Puget Sound Business Journal yet? Are you getting those articles from those thought leaders and those, like, are you getting that publication? I think that would be a good conversation for us to go ask 5 friends tomorrow. Like, are you getting the Puget Sound Business Journal? Have you ever seen it before? Like, I know a guy, because I think getting the readership to grow too is also because I think if they're not reading it, why would they advertise in it?
Right.
So my recent referral to him, I don't know if I told this at Mike, but Aaron was like, I read it. I think it's great. So I'm like, well, of course you would want to advertise in a publication you already are familiar with. So that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on key conversations that might tee up Mike to talk to somebody we know?
Kind of like Mike was saying, and I'm sorry, is it Open Glass, Mike? Was that the new company?
Round glass.
Round Glass, thank you. Well, maybe Open Glass could advertise. I don't know. But new companies that have an established marketing budget to get their name out there. I've actually seen his other presentation regarding the other company whose name I've already forgotten, Glass something. I keep wanting to use jokes like what a pain. But anyway, the whole point is new businesses that need to get out there and are ready to take a fresh new look at what the Puget Sound Business Journal can do. Because Mike, you and I have talked about this. It used to just be thought of as a parrot cage liner.
Yeah.
It was just one of the many other publications out there that competed with even things as crazy as The Stranger. It was competing with different level of demographics, but now it's one of the only ones left, and it's expanded in the correct directions. So new businesses that really need to be seen and heard and penetrate markets they would normally never have access to.
Great.
All that with a question mark.
Okay, excellent. So how about beneficial syndications? Now this is looking at his content from his YouTube channel or from their website. Where might we want to take that content and move it into a group? Right. So do you run a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group or a meetup group? Or maybe you're like, he should really sponsor the XYZ fair because, you have an idea for Mike on where we could expand his territory?
I would like to give Mike an inside referral because he needs to get Puget Sound Business Journal author Tuckus to hire Marcel and start creating 90-second shorts, Mike.
Agreed.
If you were to start creating 90-second shorts about, I could connect you with every fundraiser if they knew they could spend $1,000 or maybe it's $1,500 and they give you a $500 in-kind tax write-off donation to turn around and publicize these 90-second commercials or adverts or experts on Puget Sound Business Journal that you could start spitting out would be so syndicatable.
I love that. Absolutely.
But you got to hire Marcel. Hire anyone else. I'm breaking up with you. But my point is, there's such an untapped resource for that because, guys, Mike won't say this publicly, but he's just going to shake his head in the hamster cage and hope no one plugs the air holes. The website is great, but it's big.
Yeah.
It's confusing. And that's not a bad thing because it's so big and robust. But if there was a updated media link every 48 hours on the website, on the homepage, new 90-second video by Mike Enberg showcasing XYZ, boom. That would be huge, brother.
Yeah, great idea.
That would allow us to syndicate the crap out of you.
And even Mike, from an internal, they're already your clients, but Round Glass on Instagram, they have 106,000 followers. I don't know if you know that. Huge.
Yeah.
The Puget Sound Business Journal does not have that yet, right? Like, I don't have that. But an interview with you and one of their people or someone else on your team and one of those people to talk about the importance of wellness and advertising, to talk about how cool the app is, to talk about, like, that's part of what social media is getting social with the media. We're all the media, and so they could help elevate you and us. You've already done a great work getting them to that point, or maybe they've done some other things, but like, why not collaborate with a really rock star client? Because I had no idea who they were until I just Googled them or on Instagram and was like, wow, they're already major influencers in their network. I saw Kathy taking notes too, because she's like, she's in the wellness space, they're in the wellness space, like there could be some synergy there. But be thinking about how you guys could cross, even just have an open dialogue about what's happening versus keeping it off screen or, wherever it might be. That could be cool.
Fantastic.
Any other syndication ideas for Mike that you're like, oh, he should know about XYZ community, or I got a rich brother that needs to grow his business or something? What do you got, you guys? Okay, so next category is other categories. So in this P&A, we've got certain categories filled. We've got room to grow, but think specifically, if we were to help Mike's business, the Puget Sound Business Journal, who do we need in here? I'm thinking like life coach, business coach, graphic designer, like what do you guys got?
Well, everything you just said, but definitely a business coach. They could help a number of us here from the standpoint of shared opportunities. I still think an event planner. I mean, it's difficult for some folks to wrap their heads around digital P&A and someone like that, but an event planner coordinator, they do events all over the Pacific Northwest and occasionally other states, and they could be, key sources from the temporary marketing campaign perspective, an event coming in XYZ months, whatever. Sorry.
Well, Brian, as you're talking about that, my ex-wife, who I don't really think about anymore, but she was an event planner, and you're quite right in that there are things she started doing that how she funneled a lot of the people who come to an event. They want to promote their business, and event planners become first name basis with all those people who want to tout their business at said event.
Yeah.
In her case, she did the home building industry and the trucking industry. The trucking, not the truck drivers, but people who move stuff. There's industries for everything. But you're quite right. That it's worth hunting for somebody like that, because my ex didn't realize how much she was able to control, access and provide access. So that you're quite right. They get a lot of attention.
They're very connected. Yeah.
So it makes me think about events just for all of us. What are the kind of events? So, Mike, I think of Puget Sound Business Journal when I was a townie. I used to live up in Cap Hill, and I was, took the 11 bus down to the WAMU Tower, and that was my grind for a few years. And it's not as evident out here in Kitsap, but that the kinds of events that happen in the city where all kinds of brands want some attention, you have a concentration of people. Let's just kind of brainstorm this. What are those events that you think of because I think I'm going to start thinking of what are events that I hear about that, that'd be a good one for all kinds of people, including whoever's planning that event. But
great, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually looking at Christina on the screen with Muckfest 2025. Just
snap, that's right.
I'm going there next weekend. Rob invited us, but I was thinking about how cool there to be around some thought leadership and lighting the Pacific Northwest. All the safety benefits, all the a lot of people, Seattle's rainy and gross and boo-hoo, it's wet, whatever. But here comes Christina and Rob, and they're trying to transform the countryside with lights and outdoor entertainment. And so maybe there's some story angle or some thought leadership that even OLP could generate with Mike's help to get into those really nice people's budgets. How do I say that nicely? But there could be some really cool storytelling in that, because I think the Seattle market is very difficult, but his readership is her ideal audience.
How about a venue? I think, Brian, you've mentioned this before, but an event venue. Something that comes to mind when I was at there was something going on in Edmonds earlier in the summer, and there's something I'd never heard of. This really cool building that's available to rent for gigs. Could be weddings, could be art shows, could be. Well, holy crap! To have somebody like that who's promoting their venue, any venue, big or small, they're not competition. So I'm thinking of some of those to bring, and maybe think about logistically, what's the location of a venue we'd like to have represented in this group?
Yeah,
because they'd be good for the same thing for Mike, for the same reason.
Agreed.
Yeah, I dropped an Instagram link to the Graphite Art Center. They're downtown Edmonds now, and I was at Art Walk recently, and they had a very sophisticated crowd. I think those were Mike's people for sure. They're also kind of Mike people because they're very creative, but it was a different type of networking. Okay, any other ideas on other categories that we need in this community to help strengthen his referral team? I think like a copywriter, copy editor, um,
Business coach.
business coach for
Yeah.
sure. Business law would be great.
Yeah.
Hey, you had this malpractice, not malpractice, but like you had some issues. Let's rebrand you now. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
People that see those challenging parts of business. All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Mike. Great presentation, great Q&A, everybody. Great speech breakout. We appreciate your feedback. And now we're moving on to one of my favorite parts, referrals and testimonials. So this is a chance for you to say something nice about somebody here, even if it's just, hey, your hair looks great today. Or if you have a referral saying, oh my gosh, Mike, you need to meet so-and-so. This is a great chance to share about that kind of publicly. So anybody want to go first?
I can go first.
Take it away, Rosie.
Yeah, so I wanted to give a shout out to Brian Vaughn because my husband and I met with him recently to go over, I love it, yeah,
Apio Kala.
to go over the life insurance with living benefits because without going too much detail, but my husband heard that there was a way to use life insurance to protect you if you get into a serious accident or cancer happens or something else. My husband was all over it because he doesn't have health insurance right now. And so he's just like, he's always concerned about the big, what if this happens? And so Brian is setting us up. We got some more paperwork to fill out, but the fact that he impressed my husband, he's not very easily impressionable. So you did great. But I really appreciate it because I feel now with that, we can breathe a little bit easier. I mean, and that's the whole point. It's like, now we feel like, okay, if something happens, at least we're covered. So thank you, Brian. You are right when you say you are a life changer because that does change a person's life.
Yep, I'm proud to do that, and thank you for asking. And Stephen is good at asking questions, and the two of you together make a great team. So proud to help you and all the people you know.
A big thank you and shout out to Marcel for a wonderful 1-2-1-2-1 with Aaron of ARC, a general contractor. And the great thing is, not only was it a terrific meeting, a fantastic meeting, so thank you, Marcel, for that, but it also opened the door to a discussion internally here about something that sprung from Marcel and Aaron's discussion, a kind of regular feature that could where a contractor could present and maybe answer questions and also refer to some of his or her subcontractors to help defray the cost. What a smart idea. Something that I've been thinking a lot about and putting some bones into here, and should have some, at least it has created a structure from which we can maybe work with companies like Aaron's company. So thank you, Marcel.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. And just to know, I muted everybody. Some had some fuzzy noise, so I just go ahead and muted you. But if you want to say something, come off mute. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for coming to my office. I was so happy to have you and Aaron here because he is targeting your audience. And while I'm very pro Instagram, I'm like, okay, I got him, 13 followers, but these are not his people. And I'm humble enough to realize when my initial idea may not be the best, but I do think his audience or Mike's audience is what Aaron is looking for. So that's exciting because I want my client to win. Whether it's print or digital or a combination, I want it to work. So that's cool. And then also I have a I guess it's a testimonial, but I've seen Rosie for years on and off, and I had a different bookkeeper for various reasons. And I've currently been told that I don't communicate well enough to stay on that person's team, which I was very humbled by too. So I hired Rosie because I was in a scramble this last month, and I feel bad because my voicemail is not getting through to me. Please, if you leave me a voicemail, send me a text too. I know that's just kind of a weird thing, but I feel bad when I miss the ball and stuff. But I've hired Rosie and Steve to come alongside Dreamosity and help steer and fix and catch up on a couple months of bookkeeping. And I'm just really excited because I super trust Rosie, and I know Steve's a wonderful human, so I'm excited for that. And anybody who else got referrals or testimonial? Oh, I also have one for Kathy. So she gave me several samples when we started working together, which is wonderful. But I had to buy one off the internet, and this stuff, you guys, it smells so good. And ladies, think about your men or the wannabe man, whatever. This is for guys too. This is not just for us girls, because I do think all of our skin needs to be protected. And I just want to encourage you guys to go check out what she's doing, because she is what I call inspired by injustice. She has seen some things in the world that are just not right for our grandparents to suffer through. And it's amazing that she's created a solution that is affordable and accessible. And I've been to her place. It's wonderful. She's on the bluff side, or up on the bluff. And I just think she's a wonderful human, and we should help her sell and move these products. If you've got a birthday coming up, or a spouse, or some stocking stuffers, go buy 5. Give them to all your kids, all your grandparents. Like, everybody needs some of this stuff. So that's my testimonial and soft pitch for you, Miss Kathy. All right. Anyone else? Referrals or testimonials? Just remember, if you're talking and I can't hear you, I think Brian, unmute, please. Or do I have to unmute you? Sorry.
It's okay. Can you hear me now? Yep. Okay. Well, I gave my testimonial. I'm done. No. I wanted to give Rosie another plug. She puts up with me, which says a lot about her abilities as a bookkeeper and super smart person. And now that she has brought her husband on full time, not only does she need opportunities, but she's going to have no problem fulfilling those spaces in her schedule, because they've already hit me with a slew of questions last month with things that I'd never even been asked before, and I gave them the same type of response you just heard me give. They work with you. I know that sounds silly, but they're not just inputting numbers. They work with you and see where they can save you money, see where they can do smarter things, so you're more prepped for tax time and all that great stuff. So I just believe the heck in her, or in her business, and I think we should really give her a stern one-to-one the next opportunity you have, so you can learn more about her business and become her greatest fan and refer her out.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate that.
Yep.
I wanted to give, another shout out to Marcel, as I have been recently, but yeah, I feel like her revenue ringlet is a game changer. It really is. I mean, if you've seen the fact that I've been in her group for 1 year, and I only started using it this year because things changed rapidly for us financially. But because of that tool, we were able to actually plan out what we really want in the end, and to move things aside and everything else. And I know it sounds funny coming from a bookkeeper, but she has a colorful mind. We'll just say that, and for that, it helps me kind of go to the creative side of things, and then also made my husband extremely happy, because I never would listen to him about budgeting before, and until I started taking some of the courses that Marcel was talking about on the revenue ringlet. And then I started doing it, and I was just like, holy crap, no wonder my husband's been happy. But now he's happy. We've spent a lot less money this month because we budgeted our priorities. And if you go to her revenue ringlet, she will talk about that. Budget your priorities, and we work around that. And it's really has steered us in a more cohesive togetherness, especially now that we're running the business together. It's really helpful. So thank you, Marcel. It's a great tool.
You're welcome. And isn't it so much more fun to budget with $12,000 than $2,000? Yeah. And that's the goal is to get the revenue up for people so that you have money to budget and allocate and move, because initially it is just scary.
Yeah.
there's not much to work with. But once you have more, that like the game changes, and that's where like I'm so excited for Aaron to be able to hire Mike. It's like because we brought some deals in for him, he's able to reinvest in his community. I mean, what's crazy about one of his colleagues is an average transaction for them is $275,000, and I'm just like, I gotta come up with a way to offer something that big. But like some people literally have a lot of money out there, you guys, and that's like part of the data art. Looking at it is you realize how much money there is in the area. There's a lot of people that want to go shopping. We just got to get in front of them. Okay, any other referrals or testimonials? I feel like I'll have a big one for Christina after the OLP Muck Fest because I'm gonna spend some time with Rob and that crew.
Can I just give one more? Yeah, I just feel like a giving person too. I have to give a shout out to Brian too. And I've said it before, but as he knows, I used to be a quiet little mouse, right, in the corner over 10 years ago. And now I'm the person at the coffee shop that will listen to every conversation around me. And if I overheard that there was like these two guys talking and one was a new business owner, I literally went over there, introduced myself, gave them my card, and said, I'm sorry to intrude. I know this is awkward, but I heard you're a new business owner. I just want to pass out my card because I'm a bookkeeper accountant. And they actually took it. I don't know if it'll ever turn into, but they took it, But that's because Brian has given me the confidence that I needed, the ability to talk and not sound flustered. And even if I do, I can make a joke out of it now. So yeah. Now I'm like this unstoppable bulldog / seagull mix that those two like to call me.
You're winning in business. I love it.
Yeah.
Brian's helped me be a lot more resilient too, because life is tricky. Okay, any other referrals or testimonials? I feel like I'm missing one. Oh, Karen's not here today. I had a referral from her. One of my friends is going through a divorce. She's not here, but I will give that, I guess, in 2 weeks. Okay, so moving along here. Speaker rotation. So I am up next, September 17th. Do you guys have any requests on topics? Like, do you want to see some data art? Do you want to see kind of my take on branding safety? I call it a branding lane document. But what do you guys want to see? I'm open to ideas because I don't know. I'm so excited about life right now, you guys. It's so exciting at this time in history about the creative tools at our fingertips. Mm-hmm. And if you're feeling frustrated or left behind, definitely schedule a one-to-one with me or tell me what to talk about on the 17th, because if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Like, I want to help business be fun for you guys because there's literally so many cool people to connect with right now online at the couple touches of a button. So, and then Rosie, you're after me October 1st, and then Brian Vaughn, you're up October 15th. So boom, get ready. And then Yelena and Kathy, if you guys were to join, we would weave you in probably December. So we'll talk to you guys about that separately. And actually, I got to take Emma off, and we will probably put Yelena in there for the early December one. We can figure out if you want to do it, if we want Courtney to present, or if you want to do it, Yelena, and you're welcome to. So I think Courtney should delegate to you because you're more than capable. Plus, like BV says, you've got a Colgate smile. I mean, we could listen to you talk for 20 minutes. It's not that hard to tell a couple success stories and teach us how to talk about you. All right. I feel bad because I have you guys all on mute, and I don't want you all on mute. I feel like I've not tried to like put a muzzle on you. I just wanted to make sure the background noise wasn't going.
I feel attacked.
Sorry, I'm still learning the software. Okay. And then after that, so we've got some comedy coming up, events, September 5th.
And can I share screen, because that slide is not updated. I have another thing underneath there, unless you can update it real quick.
Nope, I cannot, but I will stop sharing. At the bottom of your screen, look for the computer with the up arrow, and you can add your computer to the thing, and then I'll let it in.
If you're ready. Tell me if you can all see that.
1 second. There we go.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay. I just want to point out, and Emma's going to call on me anyway, so I'm not butting in here. But for any locals, these two shows, September 5th and September 19th, honestly are really, really important. And I say that because summer has sucked. Attendance has been really, really low at these events, and I say that facetiously, but it really, really has. So if you do want to have a good time, There are 2 local venues to the Pacific Northwest, one in Woodinville, one in the Bothell Mill Creek area. And we work our tails off to get, honestly, some of the best talent that's working open mics and also shows across the entire U.S. And they're on our stage. And, comedy nights for us is just a fun opportunity to connect with people. Occasionally we're fishing for opportunities, but realistically, it's just to get people together, to get them to laugh after their, in this case, the first week or maybe second week, kids are back in school and everybody just wants to, hang out and relax and share war stories. So consider that if you can. We'd love to see your smiling faces in the audience. And then also the DNA of PNA. This is something I set up about 4 months ago, where on a monthly basis, just once a month, get together with me if you want to on this Zoom call. If you're part of PNA, ask me questions about your chapter, run things by me. If you have questions, needs, I'm literally here to serve. The company wouldn't exist without each and every one of you, even you all as guests, being invited to this organization to see what we do here on a weekly or monthly basis, bi-monthly, whatever. And then, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. If you're not part of PNA, if you know anybody that you think might have questions about the investment of time, money, etc., why it's closed category, why it's open category, whatever, this is just an opportunity to ask me any of those questions, and I'll give you all the cards, lay them out on the table, and we'll play a game of tarot and see where you land. But that's what I just want to share. It's a good opportunity, and it's once a month.
Thank you for that.
Yep. Trying to stop sharing. Can't seem to stop sharing.
All right. Instead of looking interested, I got to take a screenshot where people are ready, including Miss Colgate. So, okay, get your lipstick off your teeth. Okay, ready. 3, 2. I think we have one. All right, that'll do.
Awesome. Thanks. Now, so where are you going to put that BV? Are you going to put it on Instagram or Facebook, or what's your next step?
Wherever you want it. So
can you put it to Instagram and tag us all, and then we'll reshare it?
Yep.
Make sure you're following BV on Instagram. Yelena, are you on Instagram? Do you have a personal account you use?
No, not right now. I deleted it.
Oh, girl, we'll have to get you back. We're pro.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are we at? It's 1:28. We're 2 minutes to go. We normally run these for 90 minutes. Does anybody have questions for anybody here, or events they wanted to share? That was my next thought. Events. Mike, do you have an event coming up?
I do. The Small Business Summit coming up in October. I put the information in the chat. It's a great informational event as well as networking. You can be in the room with a lot of other small business owners who are interested in growing their business. So, that's target rich environment for some of us.
And then, as you guys know, we have the Mukilteo Lighthouse Festival. Come see us, guys. I'm gonna push Rob to go to that small business. He doesn't know yet, but I'm gonna make him go. And so if he's watching this, now he knows. But no, I think that would be great. But yeah, come see us at the Mukilteo Lighthouse Festival, because I won't be there because we thought about it too late about me flying up there. We're trying to hope and prepare for next year's festivals and stuff, so hopefully I'll be able to be there. But that way you guys can take photos with Rob and stuff, and we love to share it. And by we, I mean me, because I'll be watching social media all weekend long. But yeah, I'd love to share you guys on our page as well and tag you guys. I'm pretty sure I'm following everybody, but I'll double check. So if you guys do stop by, snap a photo with him, put a little fun tag. Wish Christina was here because I wish I was there. But yeah, we love to share it. That way, y'all guys can have some traction to y'all's page and stuff. And if y'all want anything that y'all want shared, I see in the chat. If y'all want to add some more, we'll share it on our page too.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. You are so cool. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we're at time. Have a wonderful day, everybody. We'll be back in 2 weeks and set up some one-to-ones. And thank you for passing some referrals today. And great job, Mike, presenting. Wonderful topic. We'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.